well, not it's the introduction of things like Fuse, with Fuse being viable now, and and Glaz being put where he is at this moment in time. Those are two things that are hard to fight as an anchor, and it lends a lot of power to the roaming game. But we will be getting into the match now. Penta yet again on defense, and V3 yet again on attack. So they're going to be bringing a Glaz, Ash, Fuse, Hibana, and Sledge. So there we know why what would have been if they hadn't been forced to pick Recruit there. And
yeah, the missing part was the Glaz. I was like, right. you need to have your Glaz, right?
Yeah, and we have seen a lot of Glaz play, obviously, given the way that the meta is as it stands right now. Now, on the Penta's lineup, again, we talked about this earlier, there's a lot of information gathering tools going into Penta's setup here. They have that Valkyrie with the cameras, they have the Pulse with the heartbeat sensor, and usually on this particular site, that would be where it stops. We don't always see a Mira played on this on Trophy bomb site, but in this case, we will be having her, and I'm curious to see where those Mira windows end up.
Now, unfortunately for that Valkyrie, the Valkyrie camera was spotted by the drone, and so that's going to be picked off early on here in the round.
That's pretty common, Valkyrie camp, but sometimes you can make it work for you. I mean, there are a lot of instances. I mean, we've seen in Pro League where pro teams are so flustered, they're so focused about their strategy or this or that they forget to shoot default cams from time to time. So, I mean, sometimes the common Valkyrie cams aren't necessarily the worst thing in the world. Pengu is going to be pushed off of Library as that smoke roamer is going to fall all the way back to the bomb site, reinforce the doorway on his way back.
He gave it up very quickly, though.
Yeah.
Like, I know he got droned out there because you had Sledge opening up the window. It allowed, I think that was for Psycho to finish droning out in front of him. But he didn't put up any kind of fighter whatsoever. So maybe his role was just to waste as much time as possible in a safe manner and come on back to the site.
I mean, Black Dragons, and this isn't Black Dragons' match, but Black Dragons was talking about yesterday how they play to hunt down those roamers. And what we saw from V3 yesterday was the same thing. These Brazilian teams are very much in favor of hunting down those roamers.
Yeah, and Falco is underneath inside of the wine cellar. We're going to see PZD work his way down. Goga's also going to get spotted out. So PZD looking to hold down the angle right now by Goga. Now, if he tries to escape, he will most likely be spotted out. Looks like a couple bullets are going to hit his feet, and one nade is going to go flying right into him here. That will finish him off. Goga's going to take that baseball and just fall a piece.
Yeah, no Rook armor and no ADS to stop the grenades, and Kamikaze will follow it up with the second kill. Falco now off the board, and V3 doing what we know V3 is going to do in eliminating both of the roamers early on. There's still an entire minute for them to work their way into this site, and they have a full squad to do it with.
Now, that was a good move there by Eunice, I think that was.
Yes.
Looking right through the drone hole, took Ty down to about half his health. He still has 3 of his cluster charges, though, so he's going to get up into the office and start doing what Fuse does and stir up some trouble inside of the dining hall.
You see those mirror windows double placed on that west lobby. Fabian not wanting to let anyone open up that B bomb site wall. Those Fuse charges are going to be coming down from opposite the dining table, and they will push Junis into Psycho, who is waiting for him at the west lobby.
Now, this is going to be tricky for Pengu because one missed. Nope, it's going to be another glass shot. Glass penalty is going to be Fabian coming down the hallway here against 5 defenders, 5 attackers. And it's not looking good for Fabian here on round number 1. This is going to go in the hands of V3.
It'd have to be something pretty spectacular for Fabian to pull that off, and he does not. In fact, a very swift and well-executed round from V3. Now, what we saw there from Penta was a little bit disconcerting. They just kind of defaulted off that upstairs roam. They just forfeited it. Now, you don't see that often happen in this high level of play, and it is a calculated decision, I'm sure. But in this instance, it went against them here because those guys they had down in the basement, their 2 roamers downstairs, were unable to influence the round at all.
Now, when I talked with Fabian earlier, we'll see if it actually sticks. It does stick. When I talked to Fabian earlier before today, he had said that they might have something special for us, and it looks as though Falco is going to be that special somebody. That's going to be our Blitz, making a first appearance here in the Rainbow Six Pro League.
Now, Penta's not necessarily a very heavily strat-oriented team. I've talked to them, especially on attack. They don't really have many strategies, really. But they are not a stupid team, and they absolutely have a plan for that blitz, and I am very curious to see how it plays into their attack strategy here.
I mean, Fabian has been taking notes from my blitz play, I'll just say that, so maybe we'll see some of that mojo going on today.
Maybe. We are going to be seeing V3 setting up some of their utility in the library, reinforcing that drop down. Now, that's an interesting choice. That cuts off a rotation for a roamer who's playing in the library, and I'm curious to see why they did that. 2 cameras going to be going outside library, and there was a mirror window placed in library box just earlier, so they are not going to give up on that library, very likely.
Not yet. It looks as though Penta is kind of aware of that, so they could be just pushing out from underneath or just going straight into the lobby. We'll see how that all fiddles down.
So the position that you see the Valkyrie playing right now, not only with those cameras, but...
Psycho going to go up for an aggressive peek here. He sees all of them over. He's going to grab one, possibly. No, he misses all the shots. He will tag a couple people down, but it looks like it distracts Pengu enough for Kamikaze to lay down the first kill of the round.
Some good aggression there from V3. Or sorry,
Eunice is going to grab one here onto Jerry as Ty gets Goga, and Falco is going to come up with a trade and just smack Ty down. That's going to be Blitz's first kill in the Pro League this season.
Defender has been discovered.
Looks like Diffuser's already getting planted, though, here by Falco inside of the trophy. They pushed in very quickly. Unit's going to be outside of the window. He's going to hold it from the side as Falco is now in a perfect position with the mirror window to his side. This is looking like it's going to be a Penta victory on round number 2. Don't want to jinx him just yet, but with Blitz having the ankle he's got, as well as Eunice protecting his side, this is looking fairly good. Falco is down to about 50 health, and it looks as though PCD has already spotted him out. He's going to tuck himself behind the little side corridor. Eunice already distracting some of himself, and it looks like he will go down. Eunice trying to do what he can. He got one kill. We're going to have Kamikaze trying to hold it down, and we're going to have PZD getting rid of that diffuser. And that will be the end of the round here. V3 is going to be successfully defusing that diffuser, and we will have V3 go up 2-0.
Defender mission successful.
So nice defense round from V3 and a nice attempt at an attack from Penta all the same. They did very that was a nice execution. I do like what they were trying to do there. Force their way in through the B window because they know V3 is going to be very heavy on that roam game. Unfortunately, while they were trying to just avoid the roam game altogether, it worked against them because V3 was then allowed to get some nice flanks off, get some early picks off, and Penta were put in such a man deficit whereby they could not hold that diffuse plant. Now we're going to be seeing V3 going into their second attack, and Penta very smartly will be switching up their site that they're defending. They're going to go down into this basement, not trying to force out trophy defense, not trying to make it work where it wasn't earlier. And I like what they're doing here. This is good to see, especially considering V3 does not have a thermite, which is going to limit their options going into a wine cellar attack if they choose to go from the wine cellar itself, or if they choose to take from the snowmobile garage. They're going to have to really commit to one or the other.
They will, and that's one of the things that you do need to consider when you don't know, when you're playing against an unpredictable team. We talked about this yesterday, is if you are playing against an unpredictable team and you think you might know a little bit about them, you need to play the safer operators. You need to pick the team that's going to be safest, and that sometimes entails going with a thermite and Nambana even when it's not totally identifiably necessary.
I was talking about that with Penta earlier today, right before these match started, and they were saying, yeah, we're going to try and bring every single operator utility-wise that we need to be bringing to the field just to make sure we have all our bases covered, and that's a good way to go about things.
Now Falco is going to be up inside a library. It looks as though PCD, I thought he was going to take a little pop shot through the window. Almost domed Falco.
It's interesting the way that Falco's trying to hold this library. He's going to actually vault out the window, get PZD picked off early on. Psycho's going to try and respond though. I don't think he's going to find those shots.
He will not. Spot him there though. Now he is trapped down. He knows that there's no other way. What I would try to have do is if there's someone with a shotgun on their team. Oh, he actually will skedaddle on out. Goes for the shots there, but it looks like he'll be taken down by Kamikaze coming up from Master Bedroom. He's now turning back around towards the kitchen stairwell, just narrowly missing some shots down. And we're going to see this tie out into a 4-4 at the moment.
These roamers down in the bar and the Glaz up on balcony are kind of having a staring contest in this situation. There are not many players from Penta on the site itself. Pengu, the only technical anchor, but could you even call him that given he's playing in the wine cellar garage? V3 vying for control over this roam game as we have seen them do time and time again, and Penta putting up a fight.
Kamikaze just making sure that everything's clear, waiting for the call from his team. It looks like he's going to work his way down into Fireplace. Now he still does have the Valkyrie he's got to deal with inside of the bar, so he's going to rush on in. I don't know if he's going to look to his left. We are going to have Valkyrie secure that kill. That's Goga.
They don't think that V3 expected there to be 3 roamers, so when they droned out the Bandit and the Jaeger, they didn't expect there to be anyone in bar.
What a D4 kill, because Glaz was already half his health down. He will bite the rest of the dust with that. Junit's going to pick up one on a tie, and Pengu trying to peek on up so he can get another kill on Jerry. He will be injured, not killed off just yet. However, Fabian is going to rotate back into the gaming room. He knows that Jerry's going to come on down, sees the tip of the gun, goes for the shots, and gets it down. We are going to have Penta taking round number 3. V3 still leading 2-1.
Yeah, V3 is in the lead. However, Penta, they are going to be putting up a hell of a fight. I mean, that round was fantastic. It was played similarly to the way that we saw V3 play their attack. last round, and that they had a very heavy roam game. We talked about this before at the beginning of the beginning of this map, is that Chalet is one of those maps that you need to maintain control over library. You need to keep forcing out the control over master and offices, and just try and slow down the attackers, if not trade out some kills in the process. And Penta had 4 roamers in this instance, 4. And you did see that catch V3 a little bit off guard. They talked about how they are the team, well, they're one of those teams that hunt down the roamers, and I guess they didn't drone every single corner in this instance. Now we're going to be seeing V3 going into their basement defense. Now they're kind of forced to in this situation, in that they were successful in defending their trophy bomb site. We'll see how they choose to interpret this particular site though.
Yeah, and like you had said, these guys are forced to go down here, mostly because they won their top 4 site. But I don't think it's going to be a hindrance to them. These guys know how to roam. They've done it well, and I think they're going to put their best foot effort, or their best foot forward, basically, here.
Absolutely. Now PZD is going to be opening up that closet, you can see there, and that's going to mean that whomever is playing in the wine cellar closet will play aggressively on this hallway. Now it's best played with somebody with a shotgun and smoke, for example. Thereby, if you're trying to challenge it as an attacker, you have to challenge his shotgun point blank. There's even going to be a shield put down there. What you can see is there's a little gap between that shield and the wall, which means that you might be able to get a little angle there onto the attacking players. That's going to be hard for the attackers to challenge.
Yeah. PZD is going to bring out that Supernova shotgun. So you were saying smoke possibly, but we do have the Supernova making the appearance.
Yeah, Supernova is not typically used, but neither is, well, Echo's been finding his way into the meta actually, but Supernova not everyone's favorite gun, and I think in this particular situation it's just a situational based pick. Penta will be bringing the Thermite to the field, and as such they're going to be able to open up the Snowmobile garage regardless of whether or not they're going to actually attack through Snowmobile. Now Penta's one of those teams that we've seen, they like to adapt on the fly. If they see that there is too much resistance in one particular lane, they're just going to go somewhere else. So if they're going to have too much difficulty challenging to that Snowmobile garage and through that bar hatch, then they will likely just move it up to Wine Cellar. We'll see. There is a lot of the V3 lineup set up to stop this attack, so
Yeah, it looks as though, I mean, they have the back blue tunnel or blue hallway down pat with Kamikaze and Jerry there, and right now it looks like they're trying to go for this push. They want to go towards the back. They want to open up the garage drop hatch. So Eunice is going to have a tough time trying to stop all members in the blue hall here.
Yeah, it's interesting though. V3 have completely forfeited the roam game in this particular round. They have 2 people in the back hall. Oh, actually, as I say that, Bandit looks like he's going to be going towards Wine Cellar, and upstairs he might catch Glaz off guard. Yeah,
Pengu is going to be up here, as well as I believe that is going to be Thatcher. I'm sorry, that is Fabian, that is Glass. So they're still upstairs. They haven't realized Psycho's moved around. He's going to be able to get 1 kill here. Fabian doesn't overpeak this. So he's taking, he saw the tip of the gun.
No.
Psycho knows this is the shot he needs. He goes for it, but he misses, giving away his position here. He's going to run on back, take massive damage in return, and try to rotate back into the kitchen.
Psycho losing that roam game to an extent is going to hurt this defense round for 3-3, and so is Harry getting picked off in the back hall.
What a good call out by Penta. However, we do have PZD and Psycho dropping down Fabian and Eunice. Now, Psycho was the one that took 95 damage from Fabian earlier. Looks like he got a trade down onto him. Pengu, though, gets 1 more before he's taken out of commission by Kamikaze. Last minute alive is going to be Goga as Falco falls to PZD. A 3-on-1 at the moment. And we've got 40 seconds remaining. All the smokes are coming in. And right there, you see the Yokai drone's going to spot him out. Shotgun going to come from PZD to drop Goga. And we're going to have a 3-1 lead here by V3 Masters.
A good defense from V3, and unfortunately not very much of a change that we're seeing. I was expecting Penta to see, okay, well, they've got 5 people waiting for us to push in through the Snowmobile garage. Maybe we should just go to Wine Cellar. I was expecting them to do just that because we've seen them do that time and time again on different maps. If they are met with too much resistance, they are that one team out of 1,000 that chooses to go to the other side. But they did not in this instance, and now we're going to be seeing V3 with that good round lead so far leading into Chalet. They are going to be going on to attack now with Sledge, Habana, Fuse, Ash, and Glaz. No Thermite yet again coming out from this lineup. And in this instance, Penta, they can defend anywhere they want to, I believe.
I think if Penta can go anywhere. I was thinking, though, that if Penta wanted to, if they were a little bit slower, I'll say, if they were a little bit slower on the push from garage inside, that if Pengu would have had plenty of time to get rid of the 2 inside of the blue hall, because he ultimately did. Once that's taken out of commission, then we could have had a little bit more of a pinch. But I think the rest of his team moved in a little bit too quickly.
Absolutely, and I was wrong, by the way. Penta did win their basement defense, so now they're going to be going into that trophy defense. We are going to see a very similar lineup to what we saw last time. Doesn't look like they're going to be roaming too very hard upstairs. Pengu is going to be opening up those holes, but last time he was up here, he just kind of fell off as soon as he was feeling any pressure from those drones. So we'll see if he chooses to challenge Library this time, or if he is going to just kind of forfeit yet again. There's going to be
spot out that Val cam there.
There's going to be Goga upstairs yet again, or sorry, not yet again. In this instance, last time he was downstairs with the Jaeger, and they failed to make anything happen in this round. So we'll see if he was able to influence it at all.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I love about Penta is that you don't necessarily know where their players are going to be each and every time they hold the same bomb site.
Right.
Like you said, Goga was downstairs inside of the connector of Wine and Snowmobile. Now he's upstairs inside of the library. So it's like,
Jaeger's in Master.
where's he going to be?
Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of roam game in Master throughout this particular map so far. We'll see if Jaeger's able to make anything happen. He is going to get droned out here by Harry, and I think that's pretty much going to spell his doom if he can't get out of this situation.
No, he's going to attack two onto Jerry and Kamikaze. Call it quits and head on back downstairs to the wine cellar, rotating out through both floors. What a fabulous job. We're also going to have the third kill onto V3 from Pengu, dropping PZD. What just happened here is a crumbling of the V3 attack force. However, it's still a 5-on-2 with 2/3 left to go. You've got Glaz and Fuse, both of the Spetsnaz operators left alive.
Yeah, and that what we saw there was just Penta standing firm with their roam game this time instead of falling all the way back to the basement, actually getting those kills out early, now putting themselves in such a man advantage where it's going to be pretty hard for V3 to make this comeback happen. If they... Oh, wow, what an angle.
There's going to be Pengu. Knew that once he got droned out, he knew where he was going to come in from, and the last man alive is going to be Ty. Still peeking the exact same angle that Pengu just got another person from, and he's going to grab the third kill of the round for himself. That is going to be a flawless round here for Penta, trying to bring it back 3-2.
That entire round came straight up down to the roamer game coming out from Penta. That smoke in the library and the Jaeger in master bedroom just caught V3 off guard, as they did not have to contest those roamers last time they were attacking Trophy. Now we're going to be seeing Penta attempt to start their comeback here, and we'll see if they can make it happen. They're going to attack now onto Kitchen Trophy Room. Last time they attacked this particular bomb site, they did a little bit of a pocket strat, in that they were trying to force a blitz straight on through the B window, and then everybody else, well, the majority of it, 3 other players in through the west lobby. It didn't work out for them because the roam game read into what they were doing from V3, and they peeked out, got those picks off nice and early in the round, putting them Penta at such a man disadvantage where even though they had the diffuser planted, it didn't matter.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, the Valkyrie there in that position is what changed the game for them. If that Valkyrie didn't push out, be that aggressive at that exact time, I believe it would have turned out differently, because the Ashe would still be alive. We still would have had Blitz with full health. It could have turned out very differently, but as you said, their roam game was efficient in knowing where the players were, popped on out at the right time and got the kills.
And what we're seeing for both these teams is no hesitation whatsoever, which is fantastic to see. I mean, oftentimes we'll have a player or a team in general, well, they'll have a roamer in a situation where he can influence the round greatly. I like that mirror placement there. That's going to give them information on anyone peeking from the lobby balcony. And the lobby balcony is one of those spots where the attackers go to cut off a lot of the roamer game in Chalet, and denying that for the defensive squad is fantastic. Fabian going to be bringing the IQ to the board, get rid of those Valkyrie cameras. I really do like that choice there. Probably going to help them taking care of these roamers in the library. Also, Falco is going to be playing up on this radio tower, which is a nice angle.
Yeah, and the IQ pick is definitely a smart pick, and like we've seen constantly, Penta does not mind going on different operators. They don't have a standard, you're always going to be an Ashe, you're always going to be a Thermite. They don't have that. Every single player on this team is variable in their operator selection choice.
I was talking with Falco before this match started. Ooh, Valkyrie just barely going to make it past there. Falco unfortunately missing those shots. He's going to skid away with his life. This mirror window is being challenged from, it looks like, up front there. The Ashe has found his way onto the master balcony.
Now it looks as though Kamikaze's feet will be tagged here by Pengu outside on that office balcony. He's still trying to fight with that mirror window there. That's going to be PZD, who has taken massive damage in return. Psycho's going to be inside of the library. Kamikaze finally takes down Goga. That's going to be the Capital, though. And it looks like Kamikaze with the drop shot will take out Fabian. And we are having Penta try to fall apart here, unfortunately. A 5-on-3 still going to ensue, though. Pengu's gonna fall, take a little bit of damage, but give away his position in doing so with the Screech. It looks as though as we have Kamikaze peek on up from the bar, he will have his head taken off by Falco.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
3 on 4 at the moment. Psycho's still upstairs, waiting for a little bit of an angle peek here onto Falco, who managed to get on up. He's got the diffuser, though. He's solo. If he hops on into the library and is not careful, he could be dropping it there for the rest of his team. Pengu trying to help out with a pinch here. He knows Psycho's going to be around. He doesn't quite know, though, how close to the corner of these. He's going to take a look, goes for the shot, and he gets him down. 60 seconds remaining here. We've got 3 members from each squad, and as I say that, PZD's got something to say. Otherwise, it takes out Pengu, poking around from the L corner. Falco trying to make his own appearance here, taking out the office wall. Eunice trying to come up from underneath. So it's still a 2-on-3. Massive damage still done to PZD, though. Gas grenades are going to push on forward, try to make them so they can't push into the dining hall that easily. Falco's going to counter with his own smoke grenade. Eunice, if he's not careful, could be caught inside of the gas grenade, and he will. Just barely. Giardi's still going to be inside of the A site looking for Falco. Now he knows Glass is pushed on inside all the way, so he can't go for an aggressive peek. Eunice actually going to be the one to move inside first. However, Falco falls, unfortunately, with the diffuser in hand. He's coming up the stairs to the side, but he cannot grab that kill on a PZD, and we are going to see V3 take round number 6.
We saw there that round almost came down almost entirely to the roamer game coming out from V3, and we talked about this before. Chalet is that map whereby if you can win the roam game, you win the round as defense. Unfortunately, Penta, they saw where all of those roamers were. They could not take care of them, though. There was that bandit in bar, the Valkyrie in the library, and the smoke alongside, who just put up so much fight. We also saw the Jaeger coming from the master side, so effectively a 4-roamer strategy from V3.
Yeah, what I really liked, though, about both of these teams that I've been seeing constantly is how well they pinch and receive all the roamers. We saw this happen with Fabian upstairs. There was a bunch of pinching going on, trying to give pressure from one side to force the defender to move or rotate to another place, and there he would be received or he would be caught in crossfire.
Yeah, now it is match point for V3 if they're able to successfully attack this basement, which I don't believe they've been able to do yet. Then they will be pushing it onto map number 2 in this best of 3. Penta has only won their defenses. They lost their first defense. They've won this defense once, as well as the kitchen trophy defense. Right, they've been struggling with the attack, and again, that mostly comes down to V3's roam game being just so on point. I mean, Penta, they seemed like they knew what they're trying to do there that last round on attack, and they just unfortunately weren't able to pick off the roamers as they challenged them. So no anchors on the bomb site right now coming out from Penta. They are going a full 5-man roam strategy here, and how can you really blame them, though? I mean, this has been the map that's been coming down to just whether or not the roamers influence the round. That is what every single one of these rounds has come down to.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is amazing to see these two teams come head to head, and still, although the score right now is 4-2, this is nothing of a not showing up by any of the teams here. Right? We've seen both these teams go head to head, and this is fantastic to see. Now, Pengu might be caught out. His elbow was actually spotted by Psycho. I don't quite know if he caught that, though. Looks as though to Psycho's side, the door got punched on open. I don't know exactly who
I think that was Jaeger, but he ran away. He was just trying to scare Psycho just a little bit.
Yeah, it will be the bandit on top of the kitchen stairs. Kamikaze's going to go for the aggressive push onto him. We've already got bandit rotating away. So we still have some roamers upstairs. That's going to be the Valkyrie and the smoke at the moment. That's going to be Pengu up in library. Jaeger was working his way up the back stairs. However, he's now down inside of in the bar. Now, PZD, depending on how he's going to decide to enter into here, will actually get in either right on top of Pengu, or we might just see a kill be taken out here. Now, Goga did fall to the glass. That's going to be Psycho. Pengu still waiting. He's going to be droned out here momentarily, though. Psycho might be collapsing onto him.
As soon as Pengu gets droned out, he's going to be at an extreme disadvantage. He does peek out onto PZD, but
and he grabs the kill. Realizes there's only one on the balcony and decides to go for that aggressiveness. Falco with a shotgun kill of his own at a Kamikaze.
Just shotgun players.
Shotguns, that's all they are. Psycho with his own version of a shotgun, taking out Eunice. Now a 3-on-3. Still plenty of time to go for V3, but they're going to have to push in the next 30 seconds or so. Psycho's going to come on down into Fireplace off the balcony. Diffuser is in the hands over there of Ty, who's the Thermite player. Looks as though he might be rotating underneath with Psycho, so they've opted to not go for that Fireplace push. Instead, they decided, let's go into the wine cellar. All three are now outside of the kitchen stairs. We're going to see Fabian be spotted out, takes one shot to the foot, but he's able to get back up and get the headshot on the Psycho. A 3-on-2, now 2-on-2, with Pengu falling to Ty. Now you've got left alive is going to be Jaeger and Mute. Jaeger, that's Fabian, going to be over here on the side. He gets spotted, and he does take a lot of damage there from Thermite, and he will fall. Last man alive is going to be Falco here, right above. He could get the clutch. Jaredy's going to be inside of the main closet in Wine Cellar. Ty's moved on over to Snowmobile. They're now going to go for the plan here, right up by the garage door. 7 seconds left to go. C4 is going to get tossed open. Now, it doesn't look like he's going to spot anybody, but we will have the diffuser go down right behind the garbage containers. Ty's going to be right by the garage door. Jerry's right by the connector. And Mute, that's Falco coming down the Fireplace stairs. He's got a shotgun in hand. He's going for the pistol shot, though. Gives away his position. I don't quite know if he's intending to get the win here. We're going to see him looking through. Still going for that shotgun kill. He's going to have to get 2 kills. Now, 1 kill into Ty will down him instantly. He's got to be wary about that Hibana. He's now moving closer. Looks like his side is seen, and he will be taken out by Ty. We are going to have V3 securing map number 1 here on Chalet.
A nice attack from V3, recovering from the loss on that roam game. And doing that exact rotation we expected to see from Penta in their first Wine Cellar attack, whereby they're like, all right, we can't handle what you're throwing at us here, so you know what let's do? Let's just mix it up and go for that Wine Cellar attack. And it worked out stupendously for them. V3 taking this first map of this best of 3, looking extremely strong going into this particular match. Both these teams playing very similarly, but I think a couple more mistakes being made on the Penta side of the fence here on Chalet. Now, that's kind of surprising to see. I mean, they're that team that, similar to how we saw, you know, a lot of the North American teams in the quarterfinals, they were making a bunch of the mistakes. Penta in the quarterfinals, they were the team that just coming out of the European North America scene, we're not making those mistakes. Where their first defense round on the basement, they forfeited the roam game. They just went all down the basement, and it's just, you know, that's why they lost that first defense.
I think one of the things to point out about V3, though, that we've seen constantly, especially in this map in particular, is how much they fulfill the roles they need to. For example, not to call out or discriminate, but Jerry had 0 kills that round. Their team still won 5-2. That to me shows that he plays a very significant support role that isn't necessarily prone to get kills, but rather to give kills to his teammates.
Right. Every round that the roamers were able to actually, you know what? The only recover we saw after a lost roam hunt from the attacking squad was that last round coming out from V3. That was the only time we saw a serious recovery happen. In the instance whereby, I mean, every other time the roamers would start to, like, you know, lock out the round for the defensive squad, whichever team was in that situation, they would then go on to win outright. I mean, we saw here, this was a nice 2K from Fabian, getting those 2 players on the balcony, and then elsewhere Pengu got a triple kill. That was exclusively on the top floor.
Yeah, and this is, again, just fabulous play from both of these teams. And fortunately for V3, they came more prepared, they came ready to fight, and they came out on top. Now, we will be getting underway with map number 2, which, if my memory serves me correctly, is going to be on Clubhouse. No.
I think it was either Consulate or Bank.
It was Consulate. Consulate. Bank is going to be the overtime.
Right. So we are going to be seeing, hopefully soon, that Consulate played. And now this is a curious thing. Now, I was expecting Chalet to slightly edge, you know, for Penta. Now, going into Consulate, I actually think that V3 have the upper hand on this particular map because, like Chalet, yes, it can be influenced by the roamer game, but more importantly, it is almost entirely destructible. Chalet is also, yes, very much destructible, but the 3 layers you have on Consulate are all in unison. They're, you know, go up and down completely together. I mean, it's one big square or rectangle or what have you. And given that you can hold the 3rd floor from the basement, I mean, there's a lot of options going into this map, and I think that is going to work well for V3, who is one of those teams that have been really showing us a lot of those innovative angles and innovative choices with the holding from different floors.
Yeah, and one of the things that has always come to my mind when I think about the roam game and what team do I consider to have the best roam game, Penta's been one of those teams.
Oh, absolutely.
But throughout yesterday and this past match on Chalet, my mind's with every single Latin American team because they have been shown to hunt down the roamers.
The two that we're seeing here today and yesterday, Black Dragons and V3, abso-freaking-lutely on attack. They hunt those roamers down. On defense, they utilize the roam game to the fullest extent, to something we haven't really seen a whole lot of before in the Pro League. Whereas with Penta, they're a little bit more conservative. They have those roam game whereby they get very aggressive with at least 3 players, but they also have rounds where they don't, and that's why they kind of lost on Chalet just now. Now we are going to be seeing Consulate played, however, and we are going to see V3 starting on attack, Penta starting on defense, and we are going to see Penta do what we expect them to do, which is bring it to the site. Not everyone is anticipating to be the first bomb site defended. Interestingly, V3 are going to be bringing a thermite to the board, actually covering all their bases, which on attack is something they haven't been getting really trying to do lately. They opted on Chalet, just what we just saw there, they didn't really bring a thermite at all. So I'm sure they were likely just making sure they had all bases covered in case Penta decided to go basement.
Now, what I can see, like I said, they're trying to have their bases covered to still keep thermite utilized and useful. If they can maintain control of the top floor, gain control, I can also see them then going into the back of that bathroom, into the back corridor, and opening up the wall to flush out the defenders in that middle bomb site.
Yeah, benches to bathroom is good, but I mean, a lot of the time, if you're going to be going for a bomb site attack on this, or sorry, a B bomb site attack on this particular floor, you're just going to cut off upstairs, and then from the drop down, you don't have to force your way into bathroom. You can just cut off the rotation from the drop down above lobby. I mean, we'll see exactly how V3 choose to go about this attack, but yeah.
Now I like this angle that Fabian has. He's opened up the bottom of the windowsill here and looking right towards the balcony, which a lot of times we'll see people rappel onto from above, but then navigate towards the rear of it.
Right, yeah, that is a really nice angle. Psycho is actually going to be playing on that balcony right now, so if we see the Bandit look up at the right time, we might get an early pick.
He sees a shot, tags his shoulder, gives him indication that he's now been spotted.
I think he thinks he got shot from the window from inside, from smoke here. So he is actually going to be playing still very aggressively. If Bandit chooses to re-attempt that angle, we could see Psycho get picked off.
Now, knowing that the glass is out here and that he's going up against the smoke, you could potentially get 2 well-placed smoke grenades to force him off of this balcony right now.
Yeah, we've actually seen in Pro League oftentimes. Yeah, it was a double kill from Smoke where he just threw those gas grenades and forced the attackers onto the back of balcony before they got killed by the gas altogether. So if Pengu decides to go for that right now, he could get Psycho picked off, and that would be fantastic for them in this round.
Yep. It looks like Ty, though, will take down the first kill of the round onto Penta, dropping Goga. Pengu, though, trying to get at that last gas grenade. He will fall by Psycho. Falco's going to try to trade it back here, and he does finish off Kamikaze, but then he gets taken out by, or we have Psycho, though, gets taken out by Fabian. So this Fabian, he was looking right at it. Now Ty's going to go to the same place where it looks like Glaz might have just got taken out from. So a 3-on-3 now with a double trade back and forth.
Yeah, that Bandit angle from the first floor onto balcony is really nice, and PZD is going to get taken down by Junis. Not expecting Junis to be playing in this CEO corner.
Now Jerdy's going to get into the connector here. He was looking right towards the corner office where his friend just passed away. A 3-on-2 still going to pursue. Jerdy still looking here. Moving in from connector into the main lobby, top floor, going towards that corner office. He's going to prone himself, but I think Eunice already saw his foot step on out of the doorway. So with that, a couple ghost shots going to go his way. Fabian trying to look up from the drop hatch, might be able to shoot a shot or two, and he does successfully get it down at a tie. That's also Diffuser that's fallen. Jerdy's going to come in from the balcony, though. He's got to look on through the hatch with 30 seconds left to go. He's going to try to fall, and it will be Fabian picking up another kill. That is, I believe, a 4K for him today.
So what you saw there from V3 was they were trying to establish dominance upstairs, but unfortunately for them, Penta had some really nifty angles to stop the influence from those windows on the balcony and the B windows themselves to kind of just get those early picks on. And then once Penta had the man advantage there, it kind of, I mean, coming down to the Jaeger roam in the CEO, it kind of just went towards Penta's favor there. Now, I mean, V3 were obviously, they knew exactly what they were trying to get done there, which is just take control of upstairs. And then once we have control of upstairs, we move our way through the lobby drop down, but unfortunately they didn't get enough picks going into that attack.
Yeah, like I said, they didn't get enough picks. They started off nicely with getting 2, but then they got traded back to make it even, and then you had a Bana fall. It was just a constant downward spiral once they lost those 2.
Yeah, it came down to Penta really just being great at trade backs.
Yep.
Now we're going to be seeing V3. They're going to be defending the basement. And this is their first bomb site of choice. Now, this is interesting that they're going down in the basement. I mean, PENTA, again, they're one of those teams that they always, well, whenever there's a need for a thermite on a map, generally speaking, unless they know they're not going to have to attack that particular bomb site, they will bring the thermite just in case, because they don't want to take that risk. So is V3, do they prefer the basement, or did they not know that PENTA is going to be bringing thermite in this instance no matter what?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like you said, some of the ideologies of these teams are to bring what is necessary or bring what is the safest. And while PENTA doesn't necessarily do that all the time, this is one of those maps where thermite can be useful in almost any bomb site.
We are going to be seeing, looks like a pretty light roam game coming out from V3. I mean, possibly 2 players, but that is, you know, a lot less than we're anticipating from V3. Ooh, this, I like what Pengu's trying to do here with this window. He might catch PZD off guard.
I think he will. All he's got to do is just turn upside down, and he does. He almost sees his toe. He's looking for it, but he can't see it. You can almost see him, Pengu. He's not even looking at you. He will stand up, and it looks as though Pengu spots him and gets him down. Pengu, what the longest sidewall there.
They were taking pictures of each other's feet.
They kind of were.
Yeah.
Check Instagram after that one.
Yeah. Now we're going to see the man advantage now in favor of PENTA. Now that's an angle, I like what they were doing with that Blackbeard. That's an angle that is not very commonly used. People think, oh, it's got bars on it, you can't see anything, haha. But it actually gives you a lot of control over the roam game going into a basement attack.
Now we do have Valkyrie. That's going to be Psycho, who's upstairs. Kamikaze's on the back yellow corridor. Spots Falco. Tries to go for the shot, but misses. Falco with that SMG-11 wall bang on a Kamikaze. Jaredy's going to get Junis down for the trade, though. It's still, that's the Hibana that's falling for PENTA. So a 4-on-3 at the moment with Jaredy drastically low on health here.
Psycho's in a good position here, though, to get the kill onto Falco and possibly Glaz. He is going to get Falco first, but will he get refragged from Glaz, or will he be able to put this round in the favor of his team?
Fabian, not quite sure which angle Psycho's coming from. He got 1 kill, like you said, on the sledge. He's now rotating around through the circle stairs. Fabian's looking. He doesn't see to the side, and a team kill actually happens from Pengu right onto Fabian. That's going to allow the Valkyrie to get back downstairs. Psycho's now going to retreat on the site. Goga and Pengu, last 2 alive. Still plenty of time to make an execution here, but after that, the momentum has got to be stirring in the other team's direction.
Yeah, Gogo's looking for that diffuser plant, but unfortunately now that upstairs control has been completely lost. Even though the last 3 V3 members have defaulted back to the site, they have no way to really pick off those anchors to make this push happen. There's no Glaz to back up, you know, with fire through the smoke, even though Thermite might be able to put them down, and those mirror windows are going to deny Pengu any real presence in this round.
Now, the one benefit that they have is that Jaredy, who is behind the mirror window, will get spotted out there. I was going to say, Goga's also going to grab one there in the tie. Last man alive is going to be inside of the kitchen. He was just spotted by Pengu, called it on out, and it looks as though Goga will fall. With 30 seconds left to go, it's a 1-on-1. Both of the smaller.
Psycho!
Right there, Psycho with a wall bang there through the mirror window. What a wonderful kill.
That was a fantastic shot from Psycho. So, what we saw there was some good control from PENTA, and then some better anti-control with that late roamer game. Valkyrie coming down from the top floor in the late game to pick off Falco, put the man advantage back to even count, and there just wasn't enough firepower on the PENTA lineup then at that point to make the push straight in through the garage happen. And you know, this is scary to see. I mean, PENTA, they've got to make something spectacular happen on Consulate. This is our 2nd map. V3 did win the first one, so if they can't bring us to at least a win this map, they're gonna be knocked out in a 2-0.
Yeah, and it's not something that I would expect from PENTA, but we also weren't expecting it yesterday to have so many 2-0s. So this is in the realm of possibilities. V3 is showing that they know what they're doing here. They can clutch moments in need. They can also just totally dominate if they need to.
Absolutely. PENTA is going to be going down into their basement defense now. Now, this is very interesting. Sure, we've only seen 2 rounds played, and we've seen the preferred, I guess, bomb sites come out for both of these teams. And this has been entirely defensive-sided right now. But we've not seen upstairs defended yet. And that is usually the bomb site that I think the majority of teams in the Pro League tend to favor.
Yeah, previously this season, though, when PENTA was on Consulate, they chose first floor, bottom floor, then top floor, then back to first floor. They'd use all 3 in their rotation, trying to keep their defenders or keep their attackers on toes.
We've talked about this before, but the great thing about Consulate as a map is that every single bomb site is completely viable. I mean, you just need to know how to play it. I mean, there are, I'd say probably in the ranked ranked meta, maybe not so much lobby, but when you're a team that can organize and put together counters for specific strategies from other teams, like for example, in Pro League, planting in the front door is nigh impossible.
It is impossible.
There's so many ways these pro teams can influence that. C4 coming down up from downstairs through the drop downs in the lobby. I mean, control over the top floor. There's a lot of different ways to hold the lobby. Yep. We are going to be seeing Psych. Oh, wow.
Ooh,
nice C4.
What a C4 kill. Now it looks as though that actually hit her and then knocked her out cold. PZD will fall by Falco.
Yeah, you heard a grunt before she exploded. That was fantastic. That was that impact from the C4. Psycho is going to get his way into the knocked over table and start working his way to connector here.
Oh, and it looks as though Gogo will down a couple of bullets onto Psycho, but not enough to finish him off, and Psycho will grab that kill, allowing Falco, though, to rotate down the yellow stairs as Kamikaze goes for the push. Looks as though he gets taken out by Eunice, though.
Psycho's put himself in a dangerous position, though. If he decides to rotate back into above lobby, he will get picked off by Eunice on that rotation. Thai is still in spawn. Look at that.
Do you think Eunice was spotted out by that drone inside a circle that Ty was on? So Psycho will rotate around, and it looks as though he won't get picked off.
And Eunice came off the angle, unfortunately. Bad timing, but there is still a lot of presence here from Penta on this first floor. Okay, Psycho's gonna go for that reset, get himself picked up by the Thatcher, have enough HP to win an engagement against a high rate of fire gun. That makes a lot of sense given there's a whole minute left.
Now, one of the things I wanted to point out there just a couple moments ago was the Jaeger sitting inside of the Visa lounge. He had an angle on Smoke, who was at the Visa stairs. He also had an angle on Falco playing Pulse at the yellow stairs, down the hallway by the benches. So he was able to get a crossfire or at least a trade in any scenario that his teammates were in.
Yeah, we are seeing V3, though. Interestingly, they're going to push themselves all the way back outside to get this thermite wall open. And it's not going to happen if Eunice has anything to say about it. I think he's going to miss this second one.
No, this second one is gone.
Yep.
Eunice got it successfully. What a wonderful job there. That's going to just dwindle the push into garage with 35 seconds to go.
Bandit Tricky's not as... Ooh, wow, Falco, nice kill onto Psycho, and he's going to get very aggressive here outside.
Now he's just merely wasting time. 30 seconds left to go. The rest of his team is now inside of garage. Ty's going to pick off Pengu, and it looks as though we will have Falco go down. It's going to be a 2-on-2 with 20 seconds left to go. Ty's going to try to move into yellow stairs. He's stuck inside of the barbed wire. We're going to see Bandit right underneath at the black car, looking here right towards Ty as he moves on down towards the barbed wire. We're going to see him stand up. He picks off one. Jared is going to be the last one alive, and he will be taken out here. No, he won't. He's going to grab Eunice down to the count, a 1-on-1 with 7 seconds left to go as he comes on down the stairs. Fabian is there, and we're going to see Penta take round number 3.
Penta playing a very dangerous game there, peeking out so aggressively when they have complete control over the garage. However, I think it worked out spectacularly for them. It did give V3 a lot of more options there as they were able to get those kills on the peeking players. However, Penta did play it well. I think if they had played a little bit more conservatively, it might have been a dangerous game for V3. They've been really good at methodically peeking into the sites and getting those kills.
Yeah, I think Falco had a wonderful jump out of that corner off his window, but at the same time, once that occurred, he got one kill, thought, okay, I'll turn around and get some more people on the garage wall. They didn't open up garage wall,
yeah.
So it was just a matter of, okay, everyone had already rotated around to the side of the yellow stairs.
Now we're going to see Consulate office. This is going to be the upstairs bomb site for the first time on this map. The 4th round total be defended. V3 are going to be the ones to do that first. They are opening up those holes that we see Penta so often do on the yellow stairs. Now that allows a roamer to then, whenever they know someone's in the B bomb site, that allows a roamer to come up not all the way to the top of yellow stairs and still deny that diffuser plant in the front end of the site. And I really like that. It means that you don't have to play an anchor in the site itself, which inherently is very dangerous, given you've got a fully destructible floor and too many ways, too many windows for the attackers to establish line of sight onto those anchors.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and with some of these pro teams and the development of the meta on this particular map, rappelling onto that connector window can oftentimes be countered many different ways. And so keeping that mirror there, some people might say, okay, can't you just rappel into the window, get rid of the mirror wall? And that's not necessarily something that you'll see many teams do successfully without taking a big risk.
Looks like Penta is going to go straight for the not the CEO, the admin office, or maybe they're just rappelling up to the window. All the same, they are very much spawned on the north and east side of the building, opening up those admin windows early on. I don't know if there's anyone from... No, there looks like there's a Jaeger. tucked away in the corner of admin, looking to respond in kind to this push, but he's going to get a grenade.
And he will fall. Falco with a tremendous throw. The Kobe through the bottom of the window.
That was definitely pre-aimed grenade. He knows exactly where it's going to be landing, but all the same, he is going to have to contest this Miro in the kitchen. Junis is going to be opening it up, though. That's going to put Ty in a dangerous position.
Now Psycho will get a trade there onto Pengu, and as we called it before, it's very dangerous to repel. However, Fabian makes it work for him as he takes down Psycho. Eunice getting the trade onto the printer window onto Ty. It is now a 4-on-2 with still so much time left to go in the round. This is not looking good for V3, but they still have the utility that they need to make this work. 3 gas grenades as well as a C4 from Pulse underneath. Now moving on forward here, Goga's going to be droning on out. We're going to have the remainder of the attackers go on forward. Kamikaze goes for the C4 kill, but you had the defender or the attacker already expected up on top of the table. That's going to be one useless C4 that Kamikaze just threw out, gave away his position, and now all they need to know is just where Jerry is. He's going to get picked off on by Junis. Junis going to go down a 3-on-1 now, as we do have a couple more shots from that SMG-11 not successfully getting their target. Goga will drop down Jerry. Last man alive is going to be Kamikaze. Comes on up the stairs, gives away his position by opening up the top of the doorway. He's now going to rotate on over to the yellow stairs. Diffuser will go down by Goga. Still looking for that spot inside of the B site, but it's not looking that like he will see that. So Kamikaze now looking for the shots here. Goes and misses his target here by Goga. Kamikaze will have to make a push here with 3 attackers still left alive. Smoke grenades are going to prevent this easy push. Fabian will get the shots onto him if he tries to come up the yellow stairs, which it looks like he will. This is going to be Penta's round. There it is, Goga just finishing off the rest of the round, finishing off the rest of E3. We have now seen this to go to a 3-1 in Penta's favor.
So some great aggression from Penta, establishing that beachhead inside of the admin office. I like how they were expecting the mirror window in the kitchen. That's not often used, and I like how they had the Hibana rappelling onto the window just specifically to counter that. So not only did they have the pre-aimed grenade, they had the pre-planned rappel, and they were able to establish complete control over CE or admin, which is often a task that you don't see a team able to accomplish within 40 seconds. That was spectacular from Penta. Now, Penta with the round advantage here, 3-1, looking the way that we saw V3 on Chalet just earlier. We'll see what V3 is going to be able to do now on their first attempt attacking Console Office, that upstairs bomb site.
And so like we had said, this is Penta's 3rd defensive round, their 3rd different bomb site.
Yep.
We keep on saying it because it's so true, is that all the bomb sites on this map are viable, and that Penta is the one to explore that and show you.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really cool. Consulate as a map overall is one of those really balanced maps that, it's one we do see it played quite a bit, similar to Chalet, but nobody's really ever gonna get. I mean, no one's sick of it. No one's like, Console Office. I hate attacking on this side, or I hate defending on this side, because again, everything's viable, and there's a lot of different ways you can explore the strategy of these sites. Now we're gonna be seeing there is a Blackbeard on the V3 lineup. Blackbeard is very often used to cut off rotations, rappelling onto that balcony, looking straight down through connector into the B bomb site, giving you a lot of information, again, cutting off any sort of rotation back into the A bomb site. That's how we saw Penta attack this particular floor last time.
Yep. Now Fabian's going to be inside of that middle kitchenette area looking in towards admin. This is just going to be him trying to keep down the fort. This is a newer method of holding admin, which only recently surfaced with the introduction of Mira.
Yeah, Mira has actually influenced the meta quite a lot in almost every single map. She has gone, she's one of those defenders, one of those operators in general who came out, and yes, she's used a lot by the professional teams, but she's not OP. She's not broken in any way whatsoever. She is definitely a home run of an operator, and everyone's very happy that she was introduced to the meta.
Now Eunice has managed to securely keep himself hidden inside of that main lobby. Kamikaze is looking for the rotation around, and if Eunice decides to move, it might be the end of him. Right now, he is safe for the time being.
V3 are kind of stalling out here a little bit on their attack. They have cycled from the admin side of the map all the way over to the CEO side of the map, and they're looking like they aren't entirely sure what their plan is here. Now they're situating themselves on those B windows, looking to get that push in. But see, having your drones on the east side of the building when you're pushing into the west side of the building, then having to move them all the way across from one side to another wastes at least 20 to 30 seconds, and that's a lot of time to be missing as an attacking squad.
I also feel like some of the stalling out that V3 has had is because their drones have been taken out. They don't have all their drones that they used to because of Penta's keen eye, able to take out the information gathering. Now, Kamikaze's drone will spot out Eunice here, calls him down inside the site, but it looks like Goga will get that first C4 kill onto PZD, taking out the Hibana. Good Valkyrie cam right there.
Yeah. The Hibana gun on this particular 4 isn't the end of the world, but oh, look at that. V3 able to rappel straight into B. Now that's interesting.
And that's very unique, not something you typically see, but we do have Glaz utilizing that smoke grenade to get inside of the site. He's got the diffuser in hand. He just needs to get it placed down. Now Pengu still holding himself here right behind the mirror window. We'll have to see if that's going to prove useful to him later on. But right now, we have Eunice coming up the yellow stairs. Psycho might spot him out, though. He just needs to look to his right side. He sees it. No, that's also diffuser fallen. No one else is inside of the site just yet. We've got 2 repelled in the corner office window. 30 seconds ago, a Claymore kill by Falco, or onto Falco, as Goga will drop down Kamikaze. Now the remaining 2 defenders, or 2 attackers, are going to be on top of that corner office window. It's going to be Ty and Jerry. Now they're going to move in forward here with 15 seconds to go. They have no other options, and it looks as though Eunice is in the perfect spot to get these kills. He's going to come in before he even gets in. Pengu's going to get 1, and as Ty comes on forward, we're going to have that MPX from Goga just finish it off, and Penta's going to go up 4-1 on match point.
So for the very first time in this entire tournament, we saw V3 not really have an exact idea of how they're going to want to attack on going into one of those rounds. I mean, they cycled around admin. They said, all right, we can't really get in here, so let's go over to CEO, see what happens over there. And they just repelled on the B windows. That's all they did. They had Kamikaze playing at the bottom of Yellow Stairs, trying to cut off the rotation from maybe a roamer coming up from Yellow Stairs basement. However, that's not where Eunice was playing. He was playing from the first floor of Yellow Stairs. So he completely bypassed Kamikaze's roam hold. If it came down to V3 actually holding that roam, or holding Yellow Stairs well, if they had somebody in an actual position to stop the roam, then we could have seen V3 get a successful attack off there, but that was not the case. Now,
can you plant inside of that the little cubby?
So in the little cubby in
where Glaz was,
in CEO, where you saw Glaz playing, I'm sure a lot of you are like, why was he just playing the diffuser? And that's understandable, but you cannot place all the way in that corner. The only place you can plant on that particular bomb site, from that corner is if you extend yourself, expose yourself to the main hallway behind that turned over couch. So you have to be exposed unless you have smoke grenades to plant in B for pretty much the entire, if you want to plant in B, you're completely exposed. The only really cover you have is the CEO desk and the bomb itself.
Yep.
Now, V3 going into their basement defense, we'll see if they're able to make this happen for them.
Now, I don't want to count V3 out of this map just yet because they have been known to also come back. But I will say, though, that like you had called out, the stalling, the confusion that we witnessed on that last round, to me, was a turning point in this round, or in this map.
And this is the same bomb site, or same exact bomb site that was successfully defended by V3. It's the only round they have won on this map so far. So it was close though. It came down to a 1 versus 1, or actually 2 versus 1 technically. A nice clutch from side. We'll see exactly how this plays out though if they're able to successfully defend it a second time. That first thermite charge is going to get taken out. Now Goga, I think limited to 1, is going to have to be a little bit more conservative with that charge. Yeah. Now, actually, he might have gotten the second one already. Nope, he still has 1.
No, so only 1 charge got taken out. Kamikaze did take quite a bit of damage, just about 30 damage or so from the player. I think that might have been Pengu repelled outside on the windows of Piano. No, he's not been repelled. But Psycho, though, is going to be upstairs, and I think Pengu just barely missing his target.
Psycho was that player who clutched in that 1 versus 2 on the site. So, and also, he got the fantastic late roam game from this drop down last time they were on this particular bomb site. He was pretty much the MVP of the single 1 round coming up from V3 here. So if he's able to successfully do this again, we could see 4-2.
Now Pengu knows his drone was just taken out. He heard the 1 pop shot from Psycho. So they're going to go head to head here. Now last time, these 2 players were the last 2 players alive on this hold. Looks as though Psycho's going to rotate downstairs, move on into Piano, hearing that it's all clear for the time being. Going to try to come up from underneath, potentially.
He's playing a dangerous game here.
Ooh, looks as though Fabian, though, will fall to Kamikaze behind that middle office window. And those smoke grenades are coming out. Garage has been opened up, it appears to be. 60 seconds left to go. You still have Pengu above. Psycho still inside of the piano room. Now Falco's looking in through the outside of that police line. Looking in forward, Falco's going to drop down the headshot onto Psycho. A 4-on-4 is going to continue with 50 seconds remaining. Kamikaze still sitting very nicely as well as Smoke, and Ty right behind the white van. Pengu will fall to PZ's D416, and now we're going to see more players from Penta get inside. However, not for long, as PZD is there to finish off Falco. Kamikaze's going to drop one as well. Last minute alive is going to be Goga. He gets one, but it looks like from Kitchen is going to be that SMG-11 to finish off Goga. We still have V3 in this. It's now 4-2.
So V3 winning their second round of this map on the same exact bomb site defense. That's going to be that basement hold, and it really just, you know, not enough roam control coming out from Penta. I mean, they lost, I think it was 3-4 players to those roamers, and they weren't expecting there to be 2 roamers. So when PZD, you know, when they picked off the Valkyrie, there was still PZD. He got those last 2 kills. I mean, I feel like Penta, they need to, instead of opening up the garage immediately, you know, they could open up the garage, yes, but have 1 or 2 players playing outside garage. Then force the rest of their players to go upstairs and try to maintain control over the roam game, because that's what's been biting them in the butt on each and every time they're attacking this basement. However, that said, Penta have won every single other variation of bomb site, whether it be defense or attack on this map thus far, and they will be going to their basement defense. So if the trend continues, if a V3 are unable to break free of that, they will be moving themselves onto map number 3.
Yeah, now they do have everything that they need in order to get this garage wall opened up. Will they successfully do it? Because each and every time we've seen Eunice successfully do it.
So yeah, last time it came down to Eunice, he was able to get both of those thermite charges.
Yep.
Not only that, but the roam game from Penta also was very heavily hampering the attack coming in from V3 upstairs. So we'll see. You know, I mean, when it came down to 3, I think, players from V3, and all they could really do was move their way in through yellow stairs, and there's not a lot going. I mean, that's not going to happen. So we'll see if V3 is able to successfully open up the garage this time. They do have also a Habana, just in case. If it be that Thermite's unable to open up that garage, they will have a second option, a second choice. So it's going to be basically impossible for Junis to, you know, actually completely lock out the garage wall in this instance if both Thermite, Habana, and Thatcher go there.
And if they decide to actually push garage, which it doesn't look like they're setting up to do.
Yeah, so we do have Falco. He's going to be doing his, I guess you could say, trademark mute roam upstairs. He uses a lot of those mute charges to deny the visibility of the attackers when it comes to drone game. That's going to give him a little bit more leeway. Goga's also going to be playing in that bathroom upstairs. Now, that's a dangerous game to be playing. He doesn't actually have the Spaz 12. He's instead opting to go with the MPX. Falco and Goga probably going to want to trade each other back on this roam game.
And that's what you can see from the defensive lineup here, is they are setting up for trades. Now, that is their fallback. Their primary, obviously, is to win the engagement, but their fallback, their contingency, is to be set up for a decent trade.
Yeah, and these mute jammers, as you can see here, are going to mean that V3 are going to go into that engagement with those roamers blind. They're going to have to fight them, you know, not knowing which corner exactly they need to peek.
It looks like Psycho has determined to get out of the yellow stairs, out of that top 4 site, and move on forward towards the garage. Looks as though Falco, though, picks off that first kill onto GZD. That's going to come to that blind movement, that blind progression from the attackers. Eunice, though, getting one onto Psycho as well, outside of the yellow stairs. A wonderful kill there by Bandit, popping on back down to the site.
Yeah, and that's Glaz and Habana off the board. No drop downs, no smoke kills going to be coming out.
What a wonderful spot by Falco, right behind the banister there. He will take down the headshot on the Kamikaze. This is looking very good for Penta to win this round. A 5-on-2 now, with only Thatcher and Thermite still alive. Jerry and Ty are going to be here, going to get that garage door opened up, because we have Eunice nowhere to be found, but Fabian takes down the Thatcher and Thermite. Ty, last man alive. He's out by the white van. Eunice going to go for the peek, but he cannot get it. Now a 4-on-1. Hard left on the corner is going to be Pengu with that SMG-11 in hand, and it looks as though this round will be done by Pengu. Getting the headshot there. Penta's going to win map number 2. We now head into our 3rd and final map of this series.
Which I believe is Bank.
It is.
Bank is one of those maps that it could go either way. I mean, Consulate absolutely favored Penta, as you could see here. We saw Chalet played earlier. I actually expected that to be going for Penta, but it went in the favor of V3. And now we'll see how Bank plays out. It's a little bit different to both of those two maps. It's a much larger map. It's very wide, and it's got a lot of room for the roamers to breathe. We even saw Flipside, despite the fact that they did not win on Bank yesterday. We saw Flipside bringing a Jackal to their Bank attacks, and that's not really what anyone expected. But neither did anyone expect them to get knocked out in the first bracket.
Yeah, and so I mean, with Bank is one of those maps that, like these other two, have a very apparent roam game, and it's going to come down to how do these teams combat that.
Yeah, and I mean, that it was similar with Chalet. So in theory, based upon that similarity, based upon how it's going to so much hinge on the roam game itself, this could be a map that favors V3. Here's some of the highlights that we saw from that last map. Some really great plays from V3. Lucky, ooh, this was a nice shot.
Yeah, this was that 1-on-2. Psycho clutching the round for himself right there, just narrowly getting that shot out of Pengu.
Yeah, and you can imagine that. Oh,
there it
no.
was. Hit her on the shoulder, then went behind her and said, "See you later." Now there was Falco's very aggressive push outside, and it worked successfully. It wasted a lot of time, and it fiddled with their mind. Now this was the last potential shot for Jerry to get this kill. Moved on down and didn't get it.
Yeah, so the only instance on this particular map, obviously we only saw V3 win their basement defenses, but that was also the case because that's the only time where their roam game actually had much of an influence on the round overall. V3 unable, they didn't defend the first floor, which is, you know, what you would have expected to see from a team that so heavily relies on the roaming. You know, first floor is in and of itself like a very, it was a roamer dependent floor. I mean, you have to have people upstairs or downstairs or what have you in order to actually hold the site. Having 5 anchors on the first floor is not really a good method to go with. So it's interesting that they've almost exclusively favored the downstairs bomb site and upstairs bomb site.
Yeah, no, we are. This angle from Falco I really like, because we were watching Ash as she came down, as Kamikaze came down the stairs. We saw exactly that scoped out angle. We realized that, okay, Falco knew that right behind that little headstand on the reception area, you cannot be seen, and he had the perfect shot.
Right.
It's little intricate things like that that we're seeing come out in these finals, and it's really, to me, eye-opening.
Yeah, no, I mean, this entire matchup has been fantastic. Penta versus V3. I mean, and for the most part, again, we've been talking about it, the roam game, the roam hunting game for both the attack and the defense. Now, on the basement defense there from V3, they were only able to successfully roam when it came to the basement. I mean, upstairs they had a little bit of struggle with their roamers. Yes, they had the roamers, but they weren't able to really influence the round to an extent where it mattered. Because Penta, they were so swiftly getting themselves into that admin office. Once you have yourself established as an attacker in admin, the only presence from the roamers you're really worried about is C4 coming from underneath, and that didn't happen for either team.
Now, you can see right there V3 trying to rally back after that 5-2 loss. One of the things that I'm always concerned about for teams is, yes, you can win your first map, yes, you can lose the second. How does that team that lost the second map get the momentum back in their favor, back in their court? Because right now, Penta's looking strong. They came out of that 5-2 loss, came back with their own 5-2 victory, and they're going to continue that momentum most likely. So if you're V3 and you're the captain, or you're the team leader, or you're the manager, what do you say to your team?
I don't know. Hey, let's do this. I've never had a manager before, so I wouldn't really know. Every time Penta's the only team that I know of in the Pro League as it stands right now, and in these finals especially, that has that guy to stand behind them and give them moral support, be the therapist, you know, be the guy who's like, all right, let's do this, let's do that. And I think that is something that lends to the favor of Penta overall. They're a team that they hail from 6 different nationalities: Swedish, Finnish, Danish, I believe, German, Spanish, and French. So they have, you know, something from everywhere. Penta's just, you know, they're an all-over team. So I imagine that can come into play as, like, you know, sort of nationality difference and culture difference can be something that the coach has to hold together. In fact, if you count the coach in nationality, I believe he's English, so he's from the UK. So they even have 7 nationalities.
Well, we will be getting underway momentarily. You can see the players setting up for the final round, or the final map, which is going to be played on Bank. V3 is going to be starting out on the attacking side, and Penta is going to start out on the defensive side. Earlier on, you saw the coin toss with head admin Vets, and either player or either captain there calling out what the sides are going to be, or what the coin toss is going to be. Now, moving into Bank, Bank, like I said, is a map that's been around since the start, but is not a map that has seen much playtime this season.
I mean, it's been played a couple times here and there. I mean, it hasn't been shunned or put into a corner. We saw Flipside play it yesterday. And I think it's a good map. It's not necessarily a map that anyone's really distaste for. You know, it's a strategic map, but at the same time very heavily favors the roamers in dynamic play in that sense. But I mean, going into this particular matchup with these two teams, it could favor either of them. You know, like you could say, well, because of the roam game advantage from V3, because they've been so much more dominant there, then it's going to go in favor of V3. But you could also say, because of the Penta's knowledge of the meta on this particular map, it could go in favor of Penta. I mean, it's really kind of up in the air. And given that this is one of the few times we have seen the third map played in these finals, I'm really excited to see how these two teams play it out.
I am as well, and like I said, we will be getting underway momentarily. With these two teams, I keep on going back and forth in my head thinking Penta, V3, Penta, V3. Who's going to win this one? What's the round count going to be? I'm inclined to say that it's going to come down to a one-on-one in the 11th round of this bank map. I'll throw it out there because these two teams have been neck and neck. They've gone 5-2 each way. This is going to be that overtime map, and we are going to get underway right here. We're going to show you the bomb sites, show you this big atrium leading into the front of the bank. And
so, of the bomb sites that we do have on bank, there are technically, I would say, about 3 viable ones. CEOs usually shunned, put into a corner, and said, nope, sorry, you cannot be defended. We will see the basement defended on bank more often than not as the first site every single time. We will see mostly Tellers defended as the second site, but there are some teams who will push it into open office, as it is just to the side of Tellers, and technically it is a viable bomb site. It just gives you a little bit more room to breathe as a defensive squad, but also leaves you a little bit more open. Interesting that we're going to be seeing Penta going into that open office defense as their first site. So they're going to be going for what we've been talking about, a heavy roam game. Since they have this open area bomb site, they're going to rely a lot on control of the other floors as well as open fights. Now, if there is a Blackbeard, for example, or a Glaz, and there is a Glaz on the V3 lineup, they're going to have a field day when they make their push into the site itself, as there is so much room for them to breathe, so much for them to cut off, as being one of those operators that is just so fantastic at that. And you can see here a lot of utility and a lot of time barbed wire rotation holes being set upstairs. I like what they're doing here, trying to maintain control of the top floor without actually holding it.
Now, one of the things we just saw up there, I believe that was the Jaeger trying to open up the stock room into looking towards the skylight stairs, or the square stairs as some will call. That's not really something I've seen too much of, because those big double windows on stock typically get opened up and you can't play a defender in there.
Yeah, so Pengu is going to be challenging onto those players, repelling on the north windows. This is going to be very challenging for him to win this fight, as there is somebody droning for PZD right now. There is, however, a Valkyrie is in position to trade back that kill should Pengu lose the engagement.
Pengu was spotted out there. He does have cover to his right side. There is a reinforced wall that's preventing PZD from getting that successful wall bang. But is he going to try to challenge this and get it into the site, or actually into the executive lounge, before he gets more teammates to help get the crossfire on? Kamikaze's going to try to come into the double windows of that stock room that we called out. It looks as though Eunice might get droned out here by Jerry, and he will. Eunice is actually, now, is he going to fight or flight?
He might not have seen Eunice.
Oh,
yeah, the drone didn't. The drone didn't see Eunice, and Eunice, as such, will get the kill onto Kamikaze. That was a fantastic play from Eunice, playing in a corner where you don't really expect any defenders to be situated.
Now we will have PZD opting to go into that executive hallway instead of into the lounge itself. It's going to give him a little bit of a tighter angle into that supply closet, which is where they spotted out Pengu earlier, but he's already fallen back to sight inside of the middle open office area lounge. Psycho's going to come up from PZD's side, his right side, up the circle stairs of the atrium, move on forward as Eunice goes for a second re-peek out of the big double windows of stock. Minute 10 left to go. Eunice just holding down the fort here. A very good position, because he also has the floor open beneath him to take a look at that window that's leading in towards the back alley spawn. Psycho still cautious of someone that might be inside of the middle supply closet. Eunice hears the shots going off, but it looks like from the drop hatch, Pengu looking on up, gets the shot on the Psycho. It's the Glaz going down. You had talked about it earlier, how having that Glaz inside of the open area, once they gain control of it, it's going to be monumental, but not right now. Ty still going for the same look that Pengu had just picked him off at, and we'll get another kill as we have Fabian falling to PZD. A 2-on-4 is going to persist here with 30 seconds left to go. PZD working his way on the main stairwell. Spots Goga. I think he took a couple pop shots towards that hallway, strafes around the elevator hallway, and Goga's there to pop the cap into him. Last man alive is going to be Jiri coming into the kitchen, and he'll be taken out by Pengu. A triple kill for Pengu on round number 1.
I absolutely love the way that Penta set themselves up on that open office. Not only is that the most unexpected bomb site pick that you could see on Bank first round defense, but also the way they set themselves up was just fantastic. The perfect roamer holes, perfect rotationals upstairs, the right amount of barbed wire in the right places, a good position from Junis playing inside of that stock room. I mean, everything was just, they were reading V3's attack like a book. We know they're gonna come in through CEO. We know once they can't come in through CEO, then they're gonna start moving their way in through stock, and they start moving their way in through the skylights. And just that happened, and we saw that Penta was ready for it. It was fantastic to see them.
One of the things that I chuckled at a little bit there toward the beginning of the round when they were setting up, they had both mirror windows side by side facing that back alley window, facing the kitchen. Then they castled off in between the sites. And I'm thinking back to when I first started playing casual, someone picked castle and castle off between the sites. I'm like, why would you do that? Here, they made it work for themselves, giving that level, that quote-unquote level of comfort to the attackers to push in, saying, oh, there's a castle wall. And the next thing you know, they just peek around from the window side.
Well, you saw there clearly their plan with that was that even on the roam game, but in general, the whole entire strat was situated around setting up traps for the attackers to fall into. The attackers certainly did on both the upstairs and in the site itself. But now, the V3, they don't have any creative strats to show us on this first round. They're going to be going down into the basement, which is the, again, atypical site to defend first round defense. We'll see how they choose to do it. Here they do have an Echo and a Smoke both to give them lots of disruption once Penta starts to push their way in through the server, which is, again, the typical way to attack a basement. Looks like Penta's actually going to be pushing themselves in very aggressively through the front door. Now, this is dangerous because you lend yourself exposed to if there are any roamers upstairs. In this case, there are not. V3 playing this a little bit safer. There is a, I'm amazed we didn't talk about this earlier, but there is a Jackal, actually, on the Penta lineup. Penta taking a bit of a note from V3. Thank you, V3, for that. Bringing Jackal to the floor. Sorry, flip side, yeah. Taking a note from Flipside, it's the F3, dudes. I'm sorry, right? Forgive me. I know,
F3,
I know you're watching right now.
The 3 threes.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. All right, so we will be seeing the hot and cold coming on to the Penta roster here. I think it was hot and cold. And see if it managed to put it to good use. There are not actually any roamers coming from V3 at this particular instance, and they will see that with the spot coming downstairs now, but it's good to have them just in case. We talked about this earlier. Bank is a very big map. It's one of those maps that the roamers can hide in one little nook and cranny upstairs in CEO, and you don't necessarily have all the time in the world to drone them out. So Jackal lending a lot to the attacking squad here.
You can see what Falco's doing. He's merely just checking the temperature of those footprints to realize how low they are. Eunice, though, going to go for a quick drop going down, looking in towards Jiri. He's going to pick off one. Could he get another? No, he will fall immediately with a trade, but that is a very successful kill onto the Pulse. Looks as though Fabian also tried to fall as well. Falco here as well. They're going in for a very hard gold take, but it is not working out for him. There's only 2 members left, and now it's left up to Falco. He's going to be inside of that gold vault room. Takes out double kills with that PMW. He's going to try for a third, but fails. V3 is going to win after this very aggressive and quick-paced push by Penta.
Yeah, it's interesting that they opted to go straight on through that drop down and not really try to institute any sort of variation other than that. I mean, I get it, I understand it. It's kind of an unexpected play. Nobody really is going to anticipate it, but at the same time, we've seen it used before, and more often than not, what happens is, yes, you can establish control over cash room, but once you start getting the further push into the bank vault, the defenders have then rotated. There's not a lot of distance for them to cover on the rotation back, and they're going to be getting a nice crossfire from the elevators and the vault itself. And it's a very dangerous play, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for Penta in this instance. Now, they are going to actually be going on to their first time defending this site, despite them winning their first defense of the round upstairs in open area. And we'll see how they choose to interpret this. Last time on the open area, they roamed very hard, but we'll see. I mean, you don't necessarily have to roam extremely hard on the basement defense.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to, because you can be pinched off at least from the skylight area, where most of the times you're going to have your attackers come in from. They're going to be either in the open area, looking above the A site or above the red hallway, or pushing in from servers. And a lot of the times it's difficult to get a successful flank around because that's the expectation.
Right. Now, the server hatch has been reinforced, and that's interesting to see. That leads me to believe that Penta's going to want to play in server to go ahead and stop that push from the attackers coming in through the tunnel. We'll see if that is actually what happens. Otherwise, if they reinforce that drop down, it actually works against them as a defensive squad, so I imagine they have to be playing inside the server.
Looks as though they will have two roamers, one inside a kitchen, one inside of the open area, hopefully to stop a push and from getting those drop hatches opened up.
Right.
Kamikaze's going to try to drone on out. Now he knows that there's a mute jammer. He can't successfully get the information he needs. It's not going to prevent him from trying, though. And we're going to see Kamikaze work his way up to that stock balcony onto the terrace.
Looks like V3 is just trying to maintain as much control over the entire map, trying to cordon off those roamers, push them back down into the site to play it safe. They are going to have to contest Falco, who is playing in the open area office with his mute jammer charges, and that's going to mean that they're going to have to challenge him blind. We've seen Falco do this time and time again on multiple different maps, but he's now got to contest a drop down, and despite he has the information game advantage here, oh boy, that was close.
Tag him just a little bit, PZD. Feeling that on his behind as Falco now evades and gets on outside. He's now going to be inside of the kitchen along with his partner over there. It is going to be Goga. And we're going to witness here PZD still pursuing this very cautiously. They have opened up a little rotation hole from the middle office into kitchen, so they can show themselves inside of the open area, then rotate around through kitchen and get a little bit of an angle onto him. Another mute jammer, though, pulling him out of the pocket. That, again, is going to stop the drone game. Now, Nade's going to go flying in. Might tag Goga a little bit, but won't finish him off.
They don't even know that Goga's actually playing in that office either. They know Falco's somewhere around here, but they're not. He's actually moved his way over to the kitchen, so this is very dangerous for V3.
This is almost where you want to have the bait game. Goga, however, will give away his position here, trying to lay it down onto PZD. The L85 is going to come out, and now we're going to see a little bit of engagement there. Goga here inside of that middle admin office. We do need Falco, though, to try to step it up a little bit and get a crossfire onto him. Right now, he's just waiting for the trade. He does successfully.
Falco!
He gets the double kill as Goga will drop PZD. Now we do have Habana coming in from behind. That's Jiri going to take down the trade onto Falco, but 3 kills have already been laid down against V3. What a tremendous clutch there by Falco. That's exactly what we were waiting for him to pop up from the countertop and get the double kill.
Yeah, his patience really working out for him there. And now, despite the fact that Falco has gone down, there's still a roamer game established here from
15 seconds left.
Penta. As
There's only 15 seconds left. Diffuser's still going to be inside of the kitchen, moving on over towards the Skylight Lounge. Goga's going to move on downstairs. Yuna's going to take out Jerry. Last man alive is going to have to drop in through, and there's going to be the final kill by Goga again. That is going to be round number 3 going in favor of Penta. It is now 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, that mostly came down to that Falco mute roam coming upstairs into open office. I mean, having the lack of information from V3, they very much rely on that. And you can see it as a team. They need to be able to spot the roamers out, tell each other, okay, there's a guy hiding in this corner before they can win those engagements. And because they were unable to do that, because those mute jammers, that fantastic roam duo between the Jaeger and the Falco was able to put them in such a man advantage and even waste so much time, whereby it didn't matter, even though it didn't matter that V3 had established control over upstairs, as it was a 2 versus 5, or 2 versus 4 actually, as Falco did get picked off.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing counterplay to the other team strategy that we're seeing here from Penta. That mute, I want to say that Penta's the team that utilizes mute the most. We've seen other teams utilize mute, but I feel as though Penta puts him to great use.
Oh, Penta's definitely one of those teams, I mean, one of the few teams who actually manages to use him correctly. And more importantly, not just Penta, but Falco specifically as a player is the guy who is always bringing that mute to the field. He makes great use of it for sure.
Now coming out on the defensive side here for V3, seeing as how they won downstairs in the basement, well, they will be taking up that Archives and Tellers location, which for many teams, ranked and competitive, is the secondary preferred bomb site.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the secondary for bomb site. I mean, we saw Penta defend open area first. And we'll see. I'm curious to see now that they've won their basement defense if they're going to want to go into open area again.
Honestly, I feel like we're going to see them top floor.
You think?
I think we're going to see it.
I mean, we could. Anything's possible technically, but I don't think Penta's that. You know, I don't think they're going to explore that much. I mean, V3 is one of those teams that does bring Glaz to the field. And the reason that CEO isn't as viable as the other sites is because you can put Glaz exactly where Fabian is right now, and he has complete visibility. Like, he has complete control over the top floor then. Like, and you're so exposed. It's super dangerous. But who knows? Anything's possible.
Now, Eunice did poke his drone into the site there, spotting out one of the opponents. We do have Jackal making an appearance yet again.
Yeah, no, I mean, Penta, again, they've been taking a little bit of a note from Flipside and bringing that Jackal on bank. And I think this is actually something that a lot of the teams are going to want to try to do more often because he is technically viable on this particular map, given the size of it.
I think it's worth noting, though, that Falco has changed up the weapon. He used the PDW last time. He's going along with, I believe it is the C8 this time. However, Eunice will fall to the C4 throw from underneath. Now, Kamikaze does have the heartbeat sensor. He spots one behind the teller line. There is a Valkyrie cam there, though, that his team could be utilizing to get that information.
If Kamikaze peeks out here, I don't think there's anyone in a position to stop him. Falco would have to get a fantastic flick in order to get that peek punished.
Now, Pengu didn't spot the rotation out where his drone had, or he just opened up the floor. However, what is happening right now is a push in from Tellers. Jerry trying to poke around. Fabian going to lay down some fire of himself. They've opened up that one mirror window. They still have one still to go.
Penta's getting a little bit stalled out on this attack, and V3 are able to nice and easily peel back after they get open, or after angles get opened up from above. Pengu is going to get a kill onto Psycho though, but get lit up at the same time by PZD.
Now he's going to rotate back on over to the executive hallway as we have Jaeger fall down. That's PZD dropping into the middle offices here into the open area now, going for the shots onto Falco, who's inside of the elevator. I don't think they are expecting that angle to be held by anyone at the moment.
Yeah, Falco with a nice flank hold here, but that's really not going to matter if Penta is able to push their way in through the tellers themselves. They have to challenge a smoke with those gas grenades and, at the same time, mirror windows coming from the B-bomb site.
Now, Ty is going to be stationed right on the other side of the filing cabinets. There was a C4 thrown out earlier. I think it might have been by Mira and not Paul. So Paul, that's going to be Kamikaze, could potentially still have his C4. Looks as though Fabian, though, will take down the smoke. That's Jerry fallen, but then gets traded by Ty, and then Ty will get traded back by Goga, and Falco will take down PZD. 3-on-1 now. Kamikaze's last one alive. He gets one. He's got two more to go. Goga's going to be placing that diffuser down. Falco's going to be right around. We have the diffuser planted right now. 2-on-1, but both attackers are very low on health. Kamikaze's got one. Could he go for the other? He got the kill there, and V3 is still going to come back here. It is now going to be 2-2 on Bank.
A fantastic 1 versus 3, I believe it was, from Kamikaze. Unfortunately, unfortunately for them, catching Penta off guard as he peeks around so aggressively, not taking any time to try and feel out the situation. Instead, trusting his gut, going for that push, and it worked out stupendously for them. There was no one from the Penta lineup in that last situation, 1 versus 2, watching the door from which they came. You could see there on Penta's face, that was a bit of a throw in that round. I mean, they had it locked out. They worked very hard to get that diffuser plant too, because it was looking like it was going to go the other way. V3 exposed themselves quite a lot on their hold, not really sticking to the mirror windows, instead opting to go a little bit more aggressive early on, and they put themselves at a disadvantage. Then that flank hold from Falco caught, like you were saying earlier, got V3 caught off guard, and that Falco was playing inside of the elevator.
Yep.
And then it was all looking good for Penta. Then Kamikaze was like, nope, no sir, we're going to win this, and we are actually going to be seeing Penta going on to their second attempt on this open area defense. Now, they did successfully win this defense last time, as they set up a lot of traps for the V3 attack. They knew exactly where V3 would come from, and V3 was not ready or prepared to fall into those traps. When they did, it was pretty much over. So, will V3 try to mix up their attack strategy here, or will they get caught in the same traps yet again, going into that CEO and going into that main lobby, coming in from those square stairs and just getting picked off one by one?
Now, from the middle offices in the open area, down on the first floor in the open area, do they have a rotation hole from that middle office into the kitchen or dining area? They've reinforced all 3 walls into the archive.
When they were roaming on the basement defense, they had that same hole, but I'm not sure if they're going to be doing it on this particular defense.
Doesn't look like it, because what I'm thinking is if they've reinforced everything else, they are now able to, if V3 wanted to, they try to push in from from the Skylight
So
Lounge.
they are going to be 11 punching, it looks like. I think it's 11 punching that castle barricade, but they do not have a rotation hole set up. They're instead relying on those mirror windows to be able to stop any sort of plant in that area. Now the thing is, there's a place you could safely plant, and that's behind the B-bomb itself. However, in order to get to the B-bomb, you would have to cross at least a 5-foot gap, and when you have someone with a Mira playing behind the windows, she's probably going to be able to win that engagement.
Yes. We do have Pengu playing in the same spot he was last time. He was upstairs, and then once he got droned out, he rotated downstairs through the drop hatch and picked up 2 kills. That was onto the glass and onto the sledge, I believe.
Ooh, this angle. If Psycho chooses to vault into stockroom, he is going to be met with a nice little angle from Pengu playing from the storage room. Ooh, but he will drone out Pengu, and it's not going to happen in all likelihood.
He just needs to change his height, which he did, and it still might be successful, but Psycho, I don't think he's going to chance it. Glass on this map and on this bomb site is very viable. We are going to see him continue to drone on out, still being a little cautious. Now, he's droned out Pengu, but that was about 30 to 45 seconds ago, so that information is stale.
Yeah, no, it's interesting though. B3 have mixed up their attack a little bit. So have Penta have mixed up their defense. That C4 from underneath is going to miss, and that's actually going to hurt the Penta defense quite a lot. Because of that, Pengu is going to have to default off of stock, and so is Goga.
Now, Goga's going to drop 2 floors and go all the way around toward the server stairs, which I believe is where Bandit went, which is Eunice. Psycho's still paying close attention, looking around inside of that open supply closet. Right now, he's not going to spot anyone, as we did see Goga and Pengu fall. Eunice still on the back of the server stairs, looking on up from that back alley entrance point, which is where PZD might decide to enter in from. Jerdy as well, working his way right above Eunice, actually. So Eunice is on the bottom half of the server stairs, and then leading up right above him will be the Hibana. That's Jerdy. Now, Eunice is going to try to peek on out. Look, and he saw Ty, but right there he misses his target. And that might just push a couple bullets into the back of his shoulder, but that's not going to do too much damage. Kamikaze, though, working his way forward. Goga's going to get his way here on getting down Psycho. Now we do have Pengu looks on over. He's going to grab the shot of the Kamikaze. He's looking up through the hole. Can he get another one? No, he cannot. Ty is there with a drop shot on the Pengu. Now a 4-on-3. 15 seconds left to go. Ty's going to have to push into open area. To his right is going to be Castle. We are going to have a trade here by PZD, and Goga's going to get Jerry down. We're going to have Fabian drop another one, and last one's going to be live PZD. He's coming on into the open area, and it looks like he will be downed off by the MP7 of Eunice coming out of that kitchen.
So V3 looked for the opening, they looked for the gap, they looked for the weakness in this defense, and they found it. That is the wall into small office coming from Archives. They got it open, but unfortunately for them, they were unable to prevent the collapse coming from Penta. They had no actual control onto the site itself. Now, typically going into an attack like that, you would establish upstairs control, open up holes, lines of sight into the defenders who are anchoring on the site itself, and then go for that push in through Archives into small office so that you can successfully get that diffuser plant. Unfortunately for V3, since they're not familiar with this particular defense, they were unable to go through the motions and get all those steps out of the way. They kind of tried, they did establish control upstairs, but they didn't utilize it to the fullest extent that they possibly could. They didn't actually get into the anchors from upstairs. Because of that, going into the push itself, the collapse from Penta was to be expected. Now, V3 going into their basement defense, yet again, hopefully going to be able to bring this back and put themselves back on into this map. Now, it is technically score advantage in favor of Penta. However, this is definitely far from one-sided.
Yeah, you're right. And for those of you that are just joining us at home right now, this is the 3rd map in this best-of-3 series. This is the first semifinal of the morning or evening, depending on where you're located. And the winner of this will go into the grand finals to play the winner of our next semifinal to be played right after this one.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Right, also, aside from that, I mean, we have 2 Brazilian teams making it into the semifinals, which is extremely impressive, by the way. But this is the last, English-speaking team to be competing for the finals themselves. G-Bots, the other European team, is exclusively Spanish.
Now we do have Pengu trying to go for a quick rush here. He realizes Ty's going to be here, but he's got 2 people on him. Moves on over, spots out Ty, and now we have a shock drone. I believe that's going to hit him. Pengu, though, will go for the pistol shot onto Ty, and he's still playing cat and mouse with Ty right now, trying to get all of the distraction down onto him. He will finally finish him off with a hip fire from the Monty.
Stay behind me.
Now we've got PZD being spotted on out. There's 2 people stuck inside of the server right now, the server stairs. Falco still trying to hold down the fort right now. Jerdy at the bottom of the stairs. Eunice gets 1. Now there are 2 members still here on the server stairs. Actually, not only 1 left alive. That's Jerry. PZD gonna top down onto Eunice, take him out for the count. 3 on 4 still pursuing. Jerry still looking for Falco to push on in. As he does, he will get taken out. This is a very quick push by Penta into server, into the site, into the B site. We've got a little flank coming around by PZD, but that means Kamikaze's the only one here to hold down the A site. There are 4 members from Penta inside of the server lounge. That is all 4 attackers left alive. PZD waiting to look through the drone hole that through the drop hatch that has been opened up. I believe that is the final gas grenade from Kamikaze. You can see him moving off of that red hallway wall, moving on over towards the garage a little bit, trying to get a different angle here. The diffuser will get planted by Goga right behind the Monty play. C4 is going to come out. Actually, no, that was the last gas grenade. Looks like it will take down the Monty, but the diffuser does get planted successfully. A 2 on 3 now, with PZD having a lot of coverage, but there's nothing to do about it at the moment. He's going to have to rotate around through the top of server stairs, but right now there is some fantastic crossfire going on with Penta. They've taken out 1. They're now going to look at the server stairs to where PZD just gave away his position by shooting out the drone. With diffuser planted, there's about 25 seconds left to go. There's not much time for PZD to get this clutch, but he still has the ability to. He's going to look for the toes of Falco, not seeing any, and as he drops, he's going to give away his position, but he tags 1. Looks on over, it looks like Goga with a drop shot is going to get that shot down onto PZD. We're now going to go into match point here, series point for Penta.
Penta looking extremely strong on bank. A nice, concise attack there from them straight into server. Now, V3 chose to defend the server straight up, playing that Echo inside, and that's honestly a decision that we don't see often made in the Pro League. Most teams opt to just completely default off of server, as it is kind of hard to defend overall. When it really comes down to it, if an attacking squad wants to take server in Pro League, they will take server. There are so many ways for these guys to establish that dominance, and great use from Montaigne there on the Penta lineup to force that out. And in this instance, we didn't see enough response from V3 early on to get those refrags. Because of that, such a man advantage and so much time on the clock. Penta made a nice, concise attack there.
I mean, typically speaking, hard server pushes work, I'd say, 1 in every 3 attempts.
Wait, hard server pushes or hard server holds?
Hard server pushes. We've seen server holds work often.
No, I would say the complete opposite.
You say the opposite? Okay.
And if you want to hold server as a professional team, there's a lot of things that you have to invest like half your utility to make that successfully happen more often than not, and it's just not worth it. Most teams opt to just completely forfeit server altogether instead of opting to go for a late roam game flank on server. I mean, yeah, and if you want to push into server as an attacker, you have so many options. One of the options was just shown by Penta, bringing that Montaigne to the field, just kind of forcing their way in. Yeah, there's an Echo, he's got a drone, but he cannot drone if there's a Montaigne in his face.
Yeah, I feel like you're right in that stance. I was thinking about V3. They had 3 members in server. They had Pulse, they had Valkyrie, and they also had the Echo. That they invested a lot of people, but not a lot of utility, I'll say, or not enough utility.
Well, okay. I mean, so we're going to be seeing V3. They're going to be pushing their way in through with the Montaigne, same as Penta. Penta's only going to have Pengu playing. He's going to be playing in the dark spot. We'll see if he is able to make anything happen there. He's going to use his grass grenades early on, trying to delay V3's attack as much as possible, but it looks like he might be trying to put himself in a position after the Montaigne starts coming in to fall back upstairs. Not wanting to risk it too much. The Echo drone is actually going to get used here as the Montaigne is getting stalled up by those smokes. So Penta, they are the team now that is investing heavily in this server, and both of these teams wanting to attack and defend it alike. We'll see if Penta make it work for them.
Now, what we did see is we have Eunice at the top of the server stairs, making sure that their flank is covered so they can focus on this Monty. Do have a smoke grenade coming out. I believe that it was either an impact grenade or a grenade that got tossed. May have taken out the last gas grenade that was pre-placed to the left of the Monty. Psycho right behind Monty trying to go for the kill. He's actually going to tag Pengu down. And it looks as though the C4 kill, though, will take down a double kill there onto Jiri and Kamikaze. That's taking out the Ash and the Monty and does a tremendous amount of damage there to Psycho. You've got Psycho as well as Ty working their way in from Cave as Eunice is at the bottom of the server stairs, still waiting to hear the call from the Yokai, and there it is. He's going to go for the shots around the corner. Looks as though we're going to have Falco take down Psycho. Goes for another kill. He gets one there, and Eunice will drop the shots down to tie. That is a triple kill so far by Falco. Almost got the fourth one. Last one's going to be PZD with the quick drop. Now, he is giving away his position here, but for the time being, he's going to drop, try to go in quickly into the lobby. Looks like Fabian is on his drone. He's got no idea this just happened. He's going to move on into the vault, come on into Gold Bar. It's going to be Falco that might be seen first, and right now, Eunice actually holding down the fort now. Looks through, will get the shot, and PENTA is going to go into the grand finals, taking home bank in map number 3.
A fantastic defense from PENTA and a great effort from V3 overall. You can see there, PENTA there extremely excited to be pushing themselves into the grand finals, keeping the hopes and dreams of Europe alive. And you know what, honestly, despite the fact that V3 got eliminated